Everybody, Invisiblekatana here doing a yay or nay video for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. This is like the big game. This is the one everybody I think was really waiting for. It's like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was like the first true title, I'd say, for the NS, where it's like Legend of Zelda's coming out. It's gonna be on the Wii U, but it's gonna be on the Switch. That was the big thing. And we found out with this is probably one of the best surprises of the whole event, aside from the price of the console, I guess. In my case, at least, I think it's good. But aside from the actual price, the fact that Legend of Zelda is actually coming out on launch day is really good news, because it was already pushed back a little bit. I think it was like a month ago or a few months ago. It's like, yeah, it's being pushed back. It's like, oh crap, what's happening? And it's like, hey, launch day. So that's really great news. So I was happy to hear that. I got a million notes on this, so I'm going to try to kind of speed through. First off, voice acting. That's interesting. I've never, well, I shouldn't say never. I've played Legend of Zelda games. I've never beaten a single one. I have like a real OCD thing. I was trying to beat the original one, but I just never ended up having the time to beat it. So I played it, but never beat it. And I was like, I can't play any of the other ones because I'm really weird. But I could have sworn there was one of them that had voice acting, and I was talking to my friend. He was like, no, none of them have like actual voice acting in the game. So that should be very interesting. You know, they have like a emotional moment with Zelda in this one where she's like crying and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, this seems very dramatic, and I mean, all the games are dramatic. You got a moon coming down to kill you. Like, I know the stories in the games, I just haven't played them. So the games tend to get dramatic, unsurprisingly, but the voice acting. So I'm curious. I mentioned to him, I don't think we'll ever hear Link truly talk. It'll be the silent protagonist thing. That's just how he's always been, even though there are certain games where you do choose what he says. I think they'll just keep him silent, and that's just the way it's going to be. But voice acting, so that was interesting. They mentioned, like, oh, you might not remember me. One of the characters is talking to Link, and he's like, you might not remember me, but I think it's time you learn. And they talk about something 100 years in the past. There are a bunch of different connections. A lot of the characters show up from the old games, and I'm assuming this is going to be probably the first official game to just be like, yep, it's in this timeline. Because all of them are kind of like iffy, where it's like, it might be in this timeline, but sometimes it's in this. And now there are 3 different timelines, so it's that sort of thing. So I think this might be the first game to officially just be like, yes, this is the timeline that this game is actually set within. I think a lot of people assume it's after Wind Waker because it's taking that sort of cell-shaded style, but just doing it not as cartoony. So I think a lot of people already speculate that that's the timeline that it's going from. So either way, I think it'll be interesting if they just flat out be like, yes, this is the timeline for this game. Because typically they don't do that. It's normally very vague, and you know, we have to put it together ourselves. So that's actually kind of cool. This was something that they had during the New York event. They showed a big demo, and I noticed a lot of new stuff that I hadn't seen before. So it shows the time of day in the bottom right corner of the screen. Time of day. It shows how much noise you're making. There's like a little wave thing that shows how loud you are. So there are a lot of different components where sound comes into play as far as sneaking and things like that. The time of day changes 5 minutes at a time. So the demo, I think, started at like 7 in the morning, and it was only like a 5-minute demo that they did, and it was like 6 at night or something like that, and it was starting to rain and stuff. Weather affects visibility, so you can't see mountaintops and stuff like that, and it can affect actual gameplay, which is my favorite part. Something they mentioned that I loved was that you have to change out of metal items. If you're in a thunderstorm, you can get struck by lightning if you're wearing a bunch of metal. So you have to switch out of your metal outfits so lightning doesn't strike you and kill you. And I was like, holy crap, that just seemed really awesome to me. And dying in this game can look fairly visceral, because there's a part where the guy playing the game, he's on a horse, and he went towards like one of the like big enemies in the game, and they showed off some amiibos. So there's some new amiibos coming that look really, really good, especially with the Link and Zelda. They mainly look really freaking sweet. But he went towards like the really big enemy that shoots lasers. First off, it looked beautiful to see a Legend of Zelda game where this dude was on the horse. He's playing Link on the horse that he named not Epona, which I thought was hilarious. And this enemy, when he goes into this area, it has like laser targeting. So the music kicks in, and it was great music. and it's like targeting him with this laser, and he's just barely dodging this laser, and it's like hitting the ground behind him, and it's like this beautiful like bright beam is flying like right past his back, and it's hitting the ground, and it's setting the grass on fire. And then he started to screw up, and he hopped off the horse, and he could not run that laser, and that thing hit him, and it killed him in one hit. And I was like, dang, I've seen a lot of footage of Zelda games, and I've never seen Link die like that. Like, he got hit with the laser, and he went into like ragdoll, and I was like, he looks like he actually got murdered. And it almost looked a little realistic the way he just dropped to the ground after being hit with like this laser beam. I was like, wow, that something about that like hit me. I was like, he looks like he actually like got killed. Like, that was kind of weird. But it was like they have like ragdoll physics in there for when he dies. So I thought that was interesting. But visually, of course, a stunning game. To go through some of the other notes that I have, sound plays a factor, which I mentioned the thing at the bottom right portion of the screen. You can land on horses in midair. They had that where he was on the glide. It didn't work for him, but they did mention like if you position yourself perfectly, you can land on horses in midair after like jumping off a big cliff and you just glide down. You can land on a wild horse in midair. So you can land on wild horses. You can sneak up on the horses. That's what he did, and he caught a wild horse. And you actually have to tame the horses, and then he rides the horse to a stable, which is where he got to name it. And you pay to have the horses put up, and then when you actually get the horses back, they actually have saddles and stuff, and you can also gain the ability to whistle. So that way, if you lose your horse, you whistle, and the horse comes back to you. So that I thought was pretty cool. They also had a dog where like he fed it or something, and it started to follow him. So like you can feed animals, and they follow you around. There was a part where he was on his horse, and he's like, "This is like a living world," and it was like a not a flamingo, but like a stork was just, or not, what am I thinking? Something, whatever the bird is with like the really thin legs. That's not a pink flamingo. It's the other bird with really thin legs. But he was looking. It was just there in the world. So I was like, that's really cool. And of course, there were enemies all over the place at random. There were innocent people being attacked by monsters, and you could help them out, which I thought was really cool. They showed a little bit of a dungeon, but he only went through like a tiny part of the puzzle. He was like, I didn't want to spoil it, so he left out. But they said that after you complete every dungeon, it becomes basically a warp zone. Like, so you got fast travel now. So I thought that was really good, especially considering how expansive they've shown this new game to be. So I thought that was a great idea. So you can register your horses that you tame. You can name them. If you lose your horse, you can whistle. Horse you can saddle after being registered. You can fight on the horse, and you can use your horse to attack. Like, he was fighting, switching through weapons, which is also great. He's like, alright, I have a sword, and he switched to a spear while on top of the horse. It was very simple, but I was like, that's cool, because it's new for the franchise. But that was cool. There's a part where he used the horse, and it just did like a dash attack, and he just charged an enemy. The horse just basically hit it with its head, and just like, boop, you're out of here. And he just knocked the guy down. So that I thought was pretty cool. Like I said, with the caves, well, they call them shrines. The shrines become warp points. You can save random travelers as well. They say that the world is truly open from the beginning of the game. It's one of those sorts of things where it's like, all right, you can go there if you want, but you will be disintegrated because you just started playing 2 minutes ago. But you can do that if you want to. And they even say some parts you can actually sneak around. If you're good enough, you can get around the tough portions and keep going, and then come back and beat the thing that was impossible for you to beat. So I thought that was cool too. It's like, alright, well, maybe there's some really cool item that I'm not supposed to have for like another 4 hours in the game, but if I'm really, really careful, I can sneak past this insanely impossible enemy, get the item, and then sneak my way past, because even with the actual super tough, super great item, your health can still be low and all the other, a ton of other attributes. But you can get that really great item and make the game a little easier for yourself early on. So I thought that was a really cool concept. Like I said, I've never beaten a Legend of Zelda game. I just love the franchise because I think, not just because it's famous, but I've enjoyed what little I've played. I just recently on Black Friday bought Twilight Princess HD simply because I was like, holy crap, they have it here with the amiibo. So that's really the only reason I bought it. Was a dirty collector moment. But I'm excited to play that, and I am going to play that before Breath of the Wild comes out. And I'm going to get that game. Like, I didn't think I would, but excuse me, after seeing it and especially with it being so different. Not just the voice acting, but the clothing has an effect. In Thunderstorms, that's insane. The fact that you can even change your clothing in a Legend of Zelda game, which a lot of people did when it was first premiered. It's like, yeah, I just sat walking around in underwear because I just went to see Link, with no clothes on, stuff like that. All sorts of different costumes. The actual blue tunic that he has, the actual outfit that they're using for this game. I love that. I think it looks great. But so many different options, a million things that we haven't seen yet because we still haven't gotten so much footage of the game. And it's like you can get this clothes, these clothes, this, that, the other. The weapon options, like when he went through that weapon wheel, it wasn't even a weapon. It was actually like just a bunch of squares, and he was just going across a line. I was like, he's carrying. It looked like he was carrying like 30 different items and just weapons alone, and that could be, of course, demos that they're showing off for the events. They changed certain things around, so that could be something that they did where he had maybe sort of end of level inventory early on, just to show like, hey, at some point you can have this many weapons. But it would be really cool if you could have at least like 10 weapons at once and then some other items. But he just went through this whole line like that. It was like, all right, spear. And I was like, he just went through like 10 other items, like 15, 20 other items. And that was really cool to me. I was like, this is just so different from any other Legend of Zelda game that we've had. So I'm actually super excited for this. And also I love the slow motion arrow thing where you can jump off the horse and instantly go into slow motion and hit an enemy in midair. I'm a sucker for bullet time, and the way they do it where he jumps off a horse and it's just like the cool pose from that first trailer. It's like, yeah, that's sweet. It's awesome to see every time. So they got me with this one. I'm just like, all right, Legend of Zelda. I always want to get one, but I always have my OCD thing about the storylines and needing to know. Even though I technically know all the storylines because I watch all the timeline stuff, so I know which games are where all the stories of all the games. But I still wanted to play them. But I think I'm done with that. I'm like, I don't know if I can wait anymore. Like, I'm gonna play Twilight Princess HD at some point. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna get. Like, that just seems like it's unbelievably beautiful game. It's like the next level of cell shaded graphics, and I love cell shaded graphics. As an anime fan, I play like a lot of the like all the Naruto games, and played the DBZ games, and I love what they've done with cell shaded graphic technology. And this is like a whole new level of that, and it looks great. But even outside of the visuals, the gameplay looks fun. The options for what you can do, you can go anywhere at any time. It's the biggest world they've had for a Legend of Zelda game, and I just can't wait to see what new content they've revealed to us before it ends up launching. So excited for that. The special editions are expensive, so try to look those up before they're gone. One of them is like, I want to say one is like 100 or 80, not 180, but it's either 100 or 80 bucks, and then the other one's like 130 bucks, something like that. I think it's 100 and then 130. You get the game, obviously. You get a coin, which does look pretty cool. You get a case for basically the whole console, which is actually pretty sweet. You get a cool map, and you get a soundtrack. And then the special, like the ultimate edition or whatever, you get all the same stuff, but you also get a replica of the Master Sword. Like it looks like the sword in the stone, and it's the Master Sword in stone. So those are the two versions. You get one with the Master Sword, the other one, that's the only thing that's missing. So it's actually kind of cool. It's like, if you really want that Master Sword, you can get the more expensive one. But if you don't care that much, you can still get all of the same stuff, minus the Master Sword and the less special. It's the special version, and then the one with the Master Sword is the collector's version. But both look sweet. I will buy neither unless they're giving it to me for free. I will not have either of those special versions. I'll just get the game and be like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't need it that bad. But it's a yay for me for Legend of Zelda. I think this is probably the definite yay for pretty much everybody looking forward to getting the NS. But we'll love to know where you guys stand with this game. Yay, nay, somewhere kind of in between. But either way, I want to know what you guys think, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about this game so far, the least favorite parts about what you guys have heard so far. And like I said, I want to know where you stand on this one, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.